Hey Libra, how are you? My name is Lauren B. Welcome to the Untitled Tarot. So I laid out your spread this week with the Tarot of Mystical Moments and the Divine Animal Oracles. All the decks I use on the channel are linked on my Amazon in case you want to get them for yourself. I am having a great time reading this story for you, Libra. I hope that you enjoy this as much as I enjoy this. I've been getting the message that I need to rest. Lauren, you should rest today, but I don't wanna. It's very much of that feeling of I don't want to rest. I have messages, I want to do my readings, I have things to do, and I know that there's a resting period coming for me very shortly, and so I really want to get as much done as I possibly can, so that way when I'm resting, I don't have to worry about things not being taken care of. And I think a lot of that is your energy too, Libra, and it's being reflected in this reading. That there's this energy that's you gotta slow down, you need to rest, but you're I have all of this energy, I want to get stuff done. You know that there's a pause or a rest time coming for you, but you just want to get things done so that way they're not hanging over your head, or you can actually enjoy your rest or enjoy your vacation or whatever it is that you're doing. We're starting off with this Ace of Swords. And for some reason, I don't know why, when I look at this card, I keep hearing my mistress, my mistress. It reminds me of one of those, like the Secret Garden, or, the Little Princess. It's kind of like the babysitter, the mistress of the house, who is in charge of looking after all of the kids. And there's so much youthful, childlike energy in here reading, which could be interpreted potentially as immaturity, but I don't think it's immaturity. I just think that you have a lot of innocence in you right now, so you're not as aware of your surroundings as maybe you should be. And so this Ace of Swords is coming out as sort of your hall monitor, or your mistress, or your babysitter, and it's sort of they have this key sitting here just kind of waiting for you to come home so they can lock everything up for the night. The Six of Wands comes up next, and this is when I first started giggling, because it feels like they're saying, Libra, come on home. Libra, it's about to get dark out. Libra, you should really be in the house. And you're going, no, just one more thing. I really need to feed this bird this flower. I'll be done soon. It's that type of energy right here. And they're just sitting here all right, Libra, I'm waiting. And you're just 5 more minutes, right? The streetlights aren't on yet. And then the Six of Swords comes out, which feels like somehow you have lost track of time, Libra, and the streetlights have come on. And it is now dark outside, and you are still out handing out flowers to all of the woodland creatures that are around you. And in this card, there's this hook. And so it sort of feels like you are being yanked out of the neighborhood, right? It's late. The streetlights have come on. What are you still doing out here? Come inside. I want to lock up the house. This Death card comes up next. And so this is the feeling of, no, but look. It's you kind of unraveling yourself and going, no, but look, I still have so much more to do. Look how much I have to give everybody. I want everyone to see what it is that I'm working on right here. Come on. And the High Priestess comes out. And it's yes, very good, Libra, but come on. It's you're being tucked back behind the curtain. And so I'm wondering if you have been working on yourself, or working on a project, or doing something that, one, feels like it has so much of you in it. It's not just something you're creating or studying or doing, right? It's there's the essence of you is in it. It's a labor of love. You're very excited about it, and you just want to share it with everyone. And maybe you keep hitting these blocks. No one's listening to you, or no one seems to be paying attention, or kind of coming to see what it is you're working on next. So you're trying to bring it out to them, right? Kind of create the hype for it. And you keep hitting this blockage where you keep feeling you're being hidden, or you keep feeling something is getting in your way. And it is on purpose, because this High Priestess is intentionally trying to tuck you behind the other side of the veil, so you are not seeable. The Hangman comes up next. So this is sort of one, it feels it's throwing your world upside down. You're very seemingly upset about this. And the Nine of Wands comes up to follow it. which is one, it feels like they put like a shirt on you. You like are wanting to go outside and go, look everyone, look what I did, like look who I am, look what I have to share with you. And they're like, Libra, put on a sweater, stop showing everyone all the flowers inside your chest cavity, stop that right now, get behind this curtain, it's time for lights out. And I just see her head turning. It's like like, like you feel really frustrated because like you don't understand, because when you tap into your own energy feels really good. It feels really high. You feel very creative. You're very excited. You're looking around at all of these things that you're doing or you're creating or you want to talk about, and the energy around them feels really good. So it's like, it's just not clicking. It just doesn't make sense. Why are you guys picking on me? Like, why are you pulling me out of this situation? I don't want to talk to you. Do you ever have those moments with your spirit team and you're like, don't talk to me, we're breaking up, go away, like you guys are not my friends? I've had those moments. So it kind of feels a little bit like that. You're like, fine, and giving them like the silent treatment or like the cold shoulder, just really kind of frustrated about it. Now the Queen of Pentacles comes up next. It's really sweet. It feels like there is someone or like an aspect of your team, and it's kind of like when you're sort of locked in the house, they're sort of like bringing you something. It's like, Libra, like, why don't you have something to eat? Like, you feel better. Like, why don't you have something to drink? Like, why don't you just relax? Like, read a book. Like, here's some things. It's like a party platter, right? It's like, here's some crackers. Like, just chill out, man. Like, it's gonna be all right. Why don't you come and sit and talk to us? So this Page of Cups card comes up next. And so it feels like you're sitting here. You have finally been given your snack time. And so you are willing to listen, if just for a moment. And that's what this little fish seems to be doing. It's this little messenger trying to communicate something to you while you're kind of just in the house, not being able to have the progress or the visibility that you're really wanting. And they seem to be bringing you this message about the King of Cups. Now, this King of Cups card, it doesn't look very nice, right? Like, it's not sunny. The waves are really kind of chaotic. They're batting against this thing. They're trying to communicate, Libra, that it feels like there is a channel open, right? And it feels like this is an energy that's moving through the collective. Maybe some of it has to do with the astrology. It could be an energy that's moving through your family or moving through work or your community, your industry, whatever it is. They're saying, Libra, there is a channel. Some of you are asking me if it's the 8-8 portal, and maybe it is. I don't know. But Libra, there is a channel of energy that is opening up, and there are some ships coming into port. And they may not be the best ships for you. This doesn't feel like a positive energy for you. It doesn't feel like it's going to be beneficial. It feels kind of like chaos energy, to be frank with you. And if you look here, she's actually holding your ship, right? It's like you got tucked behind the magic curtain, and they're intentionally holding you back. They're intentionally holding your ship up so that way you do not also travel through this channel of chaos, so you don't get caught up in sort of like this battleship type of energy. The Seven of Pentacles is coming up next. So part of this, when I pulled this Seven of Pentacles, the first thing that came to mind was low-hanging fruit. Perhaps we have so many planets in Leo right now, and with Lionsgate, and just with some of these conjunctions, the energy is really kind of spicy right now. And so part of, again, the message here is that there is a wave of energy coming through creation that is not beneficial. It's not going to be comfortable, and it seems to be an energy that is really focused on instant gratification, grabbing the low-hanging fruit. It's the type of energy that isn't interested in planting seeds and having the patience to watch something grow into full form, right? And so you have to, again, kind of be suspended up here. Libra, they're going to come in, like snatch and grab all of this fruit down here, and then they're going to be out, right? So it's important that we have you at an elevation, we have you sort of hidden, because with all of these fruits, you have actually the biggest piece, and the thing that sticks out is that you have all of the seeds, right? So any of you guys that are really into herbology or homesteading, like, you know how valuable seeds are, right? And so it's like, it's important that you stay kind of out of sight while this wave of energy moves through wherever you are, so that way you can preserve the integrity of your seeds, which helps you grow all of this beautiful stuff that you have inside. Now, you seem like you want to argue. Maybe not argue, maybe negotiate. You're trying to strike a deal. Because the butterfly card comes up next. And so I see you going, okay, yeah, I mean, I get that, but like, what if I just kind of like don't make myself that noticeable? Like, what if I just blend in, right? I'll just kind of sneak around, I'll just still be there, I'll pay attention, right? But I'll keep a low profile. But I told this card, and it's comical, because you're like, I'll be fine, I'll just keep a low profile, like no one will even notice that I'm there. And meanwhile, it's like you have these huge butterfly wings. Even the thing that you would use to sort of camouflage yourself still has a butterfly on it. So like, even your techniques for laying low still make you stand out. It's like, Libra, there is no way for you to lie low. You have so much growth, there's so much transformation in you. It's like pouring out of your auric field. There is no way for you to hide. And so Temperance comes up next. And so part of the message here is that you see how she's releasing a dove, but she's also receiving another. And so part of the message here is that, Libra, like, when you go out into the world and you're handing out all of these flowers and you are kind of showing everyone like what you've grown inside your spirit, that is what you should be receiving back. You put out a dove, you get a dove. But like, that doesn't seem perhaps like what's been happening for you, right? Maybe you're handing out a lot of doves and flowers and you're actually receiving like a lot of lumps of coal. And there's something about that isn't temperate. It's not balanced. Now, the Eight of Swords comes up next. So again, you're not really happy. It feels like you are sitting down, like you are being, that's so funny. I'm hearing the word compliant, but they're saying it's cooperative. It's not compliant. There is something of like, I don't want to be controlled, or I don't want people telling me what to do, or like, there is some of that energy, which I get. I have a fire moon, so rock on, you know. But it does feel like you are sitting down, you are cooperating, but you're not happy about it. It's like you feel like a fly without a wing. Like it just feels like everything is against you. You don't quite understand. Now, the King of Swords and the Peacock energy are coming up next. Prosperity. I feel like my throat is giving me a real hard time since I started your reading. Hold for production. I didn't warm up my microphone, apparently. So, this King of Swords and this Peacock energy comes up next. On the Peacock, it says prosperity. So, there's obviously like another person or another energy. That seeing you kind of sulking is sort of the word that I want to use. With all love in my heart, you seem to be sulking. And they're seeing you right here. And so they seem to be coming over to kind of comfort and explain a little bit further of what's happening. Now, when we look at this Peacock card, there's a peacock at the top, but there's also a mirrored peacock down at the bottom. So again, this kind of is about like equal energy exchanges here. And the best way I can describe this, Libra, is through a message that I got for myself a couple weeks ago. And the way Spirit had given it to me, they said, Lauren, imagine that you own an ice cream truck and you drive around town all day giving out free popsicles, and you are so happy to do it. And then at the end of the night, you go home, you put your truck in the garage, and you try and get some sleep, right? And while you're sleeping, someone breaks into your garage, opens up your truck, and steals all of your ice cream. And you wake up in the morning and you go, what the hell? Like, I was giving out free popsicles all day. Like, why would you come and like steal from me? And they showed me this other person going, well, you were handing out free popsicles. Like, you didn't tell me when you weren't doing that anymore. Like, you didn't say when you were done doing that. Like, you shouldn't assume just because you put the truck away that meant there were no more free cones. Does that make sense? It's like sort of this like funny little example that they gave me. And it's about, again, how you are so excited. It's such an innocent, childlike energy that you're so excited and you're so giving and you have so much to share, but you may do it so much. You may overgive. And it's like all of this growth is around you, or it's inside of you, but around you, we actually don't see all of these blooms, right? And it's almost like you don't realize sometimes, Libra, that like you're over giving or you're giving too much, or again, you're casting off these doves and people are not always returning them. You don't have very good boundaries with your energy. And I think part of it, when I look at this death card, is she's saying, well, that's okay. Like, well, I'll just grow more. Like, if they take from me or they don't reciprocate, then that's all right. Like, because I have more where that came from. It's no problem. It's no problem. And it's like, there's something about the energy that, like, it's so incredibly innocent and it's so incredibly sweet. But this character on the Peacock card asks you, Libra, is that fair? Like, is that balance? Like, is that really right? And the truth of the matter is that it probably isn't. Yes? And again, you just haven't really recognized it up until this point. Even here, you have a blue butterfly. Blue for me is always a big color that's symbolic of truth. Now, this dog companionship card is coming up next. And so part of what's being communicated to you is that these energies that you feel like are getting in your way, or they're like an annoying babysitter, right? It's like they're tucking you behind the veil and not letting anyone see how amazing you are and all this cool stuff that you're doing. That they're doing it because they're your friend. They're not your enemy. They're really trying to help you, keeping you in the shadows or keeping you out of visibility. They know that it will bother you. They know that it is inconvenient for you, but it's almost as if it is better. How do I want to describe this? You will be more upset if you get caught up in this wave of energy and everyone comes to take all of your fruits and you are left sort of barren inside. Like, it will be more discouraging. It will be more upsetting for you than you having to sit in your room. Does that make sense? Like, this is, even though it is uncomfortable, this is the lesser of two evils. It's actually a benefit to you. You're obviously frustrated because, see how this is a dog, but it looks like a cliff, right? So it's almost like you were right at this peak of like a full moment where you were going to jump in and get after it and seize the day. And then they kind of darkened the skies and you're annoyed about it. And so instead of having like that little bag that the fool carries, it's like you have a bow and arrow now. It's like you're feeling a little bit defensive still. You get it. You understand it. It's like you're computing the message. You're just not particularly happy about it. And it's your party and you can cry if you want to. So again, these are all valid emotions. The Magician card comes up next. And this is a really funny card for me because, again, you are computing the message. You are cooperating with it. You do understand there is a method to this madness. Logically, you recognize that you don't want to get caught up in an energy or in a group of people that only take low-hanging fruit or do not reciprocate your energy or do not appreciate what it is that you have to offer, right? You understand that. So what seems to be happening is there's kind of this olive branch from Spirit or your team that seems to be being extended. When I look at this card, I have another anecdote for you. It reminds me of when I was little. And I grew up very much as a latchkey kid. So, when I was in kindergarten, first grade, 5 or 6 years old, I would get off the bus right in front of my house and no one would be home. Which through today's lens is sketchy. But it was the 90s and no one cared, right? But I remember I'd go into the house and I'd build myself a big pillow fort and I'd make myself like a bologna sandwich and I'd get the biggest bag of chips and like all of these snacks and all of these sodas and all of this stuff. And I'd sit in my pillow fort and I'd eat all my snacks and I'd put on Blue's Clues, first edition Blue's Clues girl here. And I remember Nick Jr. also had this show where it was like these googly eyes on like a popsicle and he was like a character and I just used to sit there and be in like my own little personal heaven, just like very unmonitored, watching my shows, eating my snacks in my little pillow fort. And so this is kind of what it feels like is being given to you or what you are being encouraged to do. They're like, Libra, go make yourself a pillow fort. go get your big stuffed animal, like go get your squishy, put on your show, right? It's almost like her wand looks like a remote. It's like, go watch Harry Potter, like just really go and vibe out and sit in this inner child energy, because it is so fresh and it is so innocent and so sweet and so playful, and we don't want anyone to muddy it. So here, you have permission to just go and veg out and make a pillow fort and like do your thing, right? And that seems to be just enough, just like when they gave you snack time earlier. I'm telling you, if you are ruled by Venus, you are very easily sold by a snack. You are, and I say that as someone with a Venus chart ruler, right? And so that seems to be acceptable for you. You will accept those terms. All right, fine, I'll do that. The 10 of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles comes up next. So a lot of this energy does feel ancestral. I always pull up that energy when I look at this 10 of Pens. And so it feels like they've been observing you as sort of like, again, in this beautiful childlike energy, learning how to grow, learning how to create, learning how to do all of these really beautiful things. And it's like such a wonder to kind of see how you are progressing in your life and on your path. Even with this dragonfly, like learning all of these different aspects of spirituality. For me, dragonflies talk about spiritual maturity and gnosis. And the thing that you don't realize is like, this is the whole process for you. Again, it's fun, it's playful, you enjoy it, you see kind of what you're able to create, you're really proud of it. But what you don't see is this 5 of Swords. And this is what your team is seeing. This is what your ancestors are seeing. And the thing is, and this is what I'm talking about, if you look at this character, what color flower is that? It's a white flower. She did not take any of these pink flowers that you've been growing, but you are the white flower. And this is kind of exactly the point, that you hand out these popsicles to people, right? That you're growing all of these beautiful things and you're handing out all of these flowers to other people, but they're more interested in taking you. And so there is something that you cannot be involved in this energy, because they're not just gonna enjoy or take what you've grown, but they're gonna try and take you. It's the idea of like walking into a room and someone putting their arm around you like, hey Libra, I'm so glad you're here, this is so great, we're so happy you showed up. And meanwhile they're like picking your pockets, right? From like an energetic standpoint. And like, this is the thing that you don't realize when you're so absorbed in your creative process, right? And then they come in, they take a piece of you away, and then all of a sudden all the whole land that you've planted, it just gets flooded, and now everything's disjointed, it's floating around, and it's like you don't even want to look at it because you're upset. And then you have this authenticity card. It's like that wolf in sheep's clothing, because you have a difficulty viewing people as they authentically are and not the best version of themselves that you like to see them. It's like you see the good in people, and sometimes those rose-colored glasses also makes it hard for you to see the wolf in them as well, right? And so the last 2 cards of this reading is you have Stability, Sea Turtle, which talks about patience. For me, turtles talk about patience, and they also talk about longevity, right? It's kind of about playing the long game here. Smarter, not harder. And then you also have the 4 of Wands, which is this energy of respite and sanctuary and communion, right? And so kind of the more they're laying this down for you, you're also recognizing these patterns of wait, that does happen. I do get really excited and I overshare or I overgive, and they take too much and they take a piece of me with it, and then it feels like everything kind of falls apart and I didn't see it for how it was. And so because of that, you're recognizing that, again, this is, even though it's uncomfortable and you don't want to sit in your room, that it actually is the better option for you to, one, pick up on this energy so you'll be aware of it in the future, but also so you don't get caught up in it, and how actually turns out you're kind of enjoying sitting in this sanctuary. You're enjoying the stability for a moment to get yourself steady, to plan a little bit more, to kind of sit in your pillow fort and preserve this beautiful energy that you have so it's not tainted by anyone else, and you have a better strategy moving forward when the energy clears up. So this is what I have. You little cutie patootie, I love you so much. This is the most adorable thing, like sweethearted thing I've ever read in my life. I'm going to leave it here. I am going to go do an extended reading. So if you're interested in your extended reading or your monthly reading for August, Those will be the top 2 links in the description box. If you check out our Patreon Honeycomb, you can find all of the extendeds, all of the monthlies, and our mystery school, and anything else you'll need for me, the decks that I use, one-on-one sessions, etc. It'll all be down below. I love you so much. Watch something good for me, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.